Watch me make this API 100 times faster. I'm calling this API for the first time. It took around 1000 milliseconds. Now I'm calling it multiple times and you can see it is significantly taking less amount of time. Caching helped us to fasten the API response time. The client made an API call to our server on this specific API in which one was the user ID. Then our API server checked in our cache. So let's say if the user ID one exists in our cache, and then immediately it will be giving the response. Whereas if it is not getting the data in the cache, then it will move on to our database. It will fetch the data from our database and then it will save it in our cache. So what will happen is in the first API call, it will be taking more time since the data won't exist in cache. However, in the recurrent API call, the response time will be significantly faster because we will be immediately fetching the data from the cache. The fetching from cache is significantly faster because the data is stored in the RAM in case of cache, whereas in case of database, it is being stored in the disk, which is slow. It is a REST API which accepts ID as a parameter, and based on the ID, it returns the user object. We have implemented a Redis cache. In Redis cache, we store the data in key value format similar to a map. On this line, we are creating a cache key, combining the user text with the ID, which will be dynamic. On this line, we are checking whether the user ID exists in our cache. If the user exists in our cache, then we will be immediately returning the response. So in our recurrent API calls, we fetch the data from here and we were able to efficiently return the response. However, in the first API call, we fetch the data from our database. On this line, we are simulating a slow SQL query. Once we got the data from our SQL, then we saved it in our Redis cache. So we had this cache key and we set the expiry time to 30 seconds. After we saved the user in the cache, we ended up returning the response to the client. That's the reason the first API call took significantly longer amount of time. Comment link if you want link to this repository.